Hey guys, welcome back. I have a broken revolver. Actually, I'm just kidding. Some of you guys know better than that. But welcome back to Military Surplus Brothers. Today again, we've got another surplus military handgun for you today. We have a Enfield number 2 Mark I Star. You can actually tell that because they have very kindly added that on there on the markings for us. Very easy to tell. We have the Royal Crown and everything, so I guess it must be British. Yep, that's from the United Kingdom right there. It is a 38 caliber break top revolver. Very kind of interesting. The British, of course, not strangers to a break top revolver. The Webley and Scott series of guns were used in the First World War as well, and this kind of follows that lineage. Before we get too far in, though, let's go do some shooting. All right, let's take 6 shots with our Enfield number 2 Mark I Star. We have 6 shots loaded up here in our cylinder, and as I said, it is break action, so we're gonna have to close it up there to shoot. Now, this is a double action all the time revolver, double action only. We don't really have the option to pull for a single shot. I believe some of the early guns you could do that. This one's been modified so that that is the only option. So here we go. Let's see what we can do. There's 1, 2. Oh, bit of a jam there. 1 more. Nope, I'm out. It's not so bad. Getting used to that cartridge. Oh, I skipped one, that's why. Haha. So, you can notice all 5 of those have been shot. Let's close that back up, and we'll get one more shot out of that, hopefully. Close there. Okay. All right. Yeah. All right, let's try to take that center one real quick. Got him. All right. Some of you may notice that's not exactly the loudest revolver in the world, and the 38-200 cartridge is a little anemic. Just as a little bit of history, what happens with this revolver basically is in the First World War, Webley and Scott had several of their .455 caliber revolvers, very similar to this in design, and they broke open and so on. They had 6 shots, but they were .45 caliber. High recoil there. Very effective on a German or any other enemy target. However, it makes your second and extra follow-up shots much more difficult. What the English decided was that they would reduce the caliber of their cartridge a bit, and they decided that 38 caliber would be ideal. The designers around the country, especially Enfield, Webley and Scott, because they were the producer, looked around to find a cartridge that would be suitable in that caliber. They decided that a U.S. police cartridge, the 38-200, would effectively fit that role. The idea apparently was that Webley and Scott had gotten this idea from the government that they wanted a lesser powerful cartridge, a lower recoil cartridge. They got this 38-200 going, which is what we're shooting today, and they came up with what is essentially this revolver. So again, you may be wondering, why then is this not a Webley and Scott revolver? Well, you would have a very good question there. They submitted essentially this gun, again, few mechanical changes were made, to the British government for testing. The British government really liked it, but they didn't actually adopt the revolver. What in fact they did is, after testing, they ended up adopting this revolver that you see here as the Enfield number 2. Okay, Webley and Scott, as you may imagine, saw this revolver. They, had contact with the British government, and they said, "Hey, that's our revolver." And the British government was like, "Well, no, it is not your revolver. In fact," and I'll stop the British accent, the government claimed that the Enfield revolver was actually designed by Captain Boys. Some of you may be familiar with that name. Captain Boys is actually more well known for the Boys anti-tank rifle, which you can see up there. But unfortunately, as I'm not going to get a Boys anti-tank rifle, that's probably as close as we'll ever get to mentioning that particular person on this channel. In any case, Webley and Scott actually ended up suing the British government and Enfield, and they sued them for about $2,000 and 200 pounds, which I will have somewhere on this frame calculated for you in today's money. So there's it's not the same amount. The British government, saying that this was in fact not their design, it was designed by boys, denied their claim. Not surprisingly, they don't want to pay for that. What in fact later happened is that another department of the British government ended up giving Webley and Scott some money for their R&D, but they didn't really admit that they stole their design. I think they ended up giving them like 1,200 pounds, which again, about half of what they had actually originally claimed. And they got that for research and development. Now, as this is a break top revolver, the loading and reloading process is a bit kind of odd. You have a brake lever right here that breaks the top of the revolver. You open that and then open like that, and let's say you want to unload your revolver very quickly. Well, you just give it a little sharp snap, and all your cartridges are gone. And then you, of course, reload as necessary, and then close up, and you're ready to fire. All right, so the loading procedure for the Enfield No. 2 Mark I is very simple. You basically just have to put your 6 cartridges in there, which slip in and out very easily, and then you close your revolver with a good snap. Okay? Then you're ready to go. As I said, it's double action all the time, which means you really don't have much of an option but to just pull the trigger. Which is admittedly quite heavy. Now you have the opening procedure. All the rounds are gone very quickly. Kind of slick. One more side note on the 38-200 cartridge. While the British government wanted a lower recoil cartridge, which they did receive in this, it is interesting to note that while it is accurate and is, does engage the rifling and it is stabilized, it's only minimally stabilized. So one thing that you run into with these is that whenever it hits something, it tends to tumble or keyhole, which ironically makes it somewhat less civilized in the sense that it causes a lot more damage to whatever the target is. So you probably haven't seen this when we're far away, but the way that the ejection occurs is that you have this center pin axis here that actually pushes the casings out. So you can see this if I put one in, actually here, sorry I'm in the way there, but it drops down to allow the cartridge to sit in, and when you give it a snap, it throws it out. And we're not going to do that because that is a loaded cartridge, and those are hand loads, and I don't want to get them dirty, and I don't want to dirty the gun more than it is. But we'll load up our 6 shots here. So again, loading procedure is pretty simple. It's exactly as you would imagine, but just place your cartridges down in there by hand. I understand that there were speed loaders, but as you also might imagine, those are kind of expensive and they're not readily available in the United States for this specific revolver. If somebody knows of one that will fit it, that is readily available, please let me know. That'd be cool. It is in 32 Smith & Wesson, which is a relatively available caliber in the United States, but, well, 38, 38-200. 38 Smith & Wesson is also reasonably available. You can find it in certain places. So the only difference here being it's got a really, really heavy bullet. So let's try to shoot our Texas Star here, and then we'll have a little bit more information, and we'll get you guys out of here. May have a disassembly video. You never know. Gun's really not that complicated. All right. Make sure that ear is in here. We'll see what we can do. All right. Here we go. Up. There we go. Hey. Oh. Sometimes the gun unindexes itself. I haven't quite figured that one out. There we go. All right. Hey. Pretty accurate little gun. That's all. Right, so interestingly, the British understood that everybody is basically right-handed. So the lever for the brake is for your right thumb. If you happen to be left-handed, notice that there is no ambidextrous use there. So you break it open there, and then just insert your cartridges with your left hand there. And I just lost one, so I guess I'm going to pick him up in a second. I was trying so hard not to do that. Guess that didn't work out. It's funny, actually, the French decided that everybody was quite the opposite, should be using their left hand to hold it, and then everything swings out to the wrong side there, so go figure. Alright, one last set here. See what we can put them on the plates here. I'll start on the left side and see if we can sweep. Here we go. Alright. Oh. As always, missed the first one. Go figure. Ah, and missed the last one. But hey, it's not too bad.